Rendeavor is a company that's on a mission to reduce social isolation through the power of virtual reality and shared experiences.
Residents put on these headsets and they can go wherever they want and they can do whatever they want.
It makes you feel like you're alive again.
As technology revolutionizes the way we connect with the world around us, leaders in the senior living industry are embracing extraordinary new types of community building tools, including virtual reality, or VR. Over the last 5 years, the pioneering team at Rendeavor has shared its powerful platform with more than 300 senior living communities across the globe. Rendeavor's core mission is to reduce social isolation, using shared experiences to bring people together and build connections that ultimately improve health and well-being. And so far, the results have been widely called magical.
Rendeavor's easy-to-use VR platform safely transports residents beyond the four walls of their community, taking them to places they've known and loved and bringing them into exhilarating new experiences. Participants interact and bond with each other in authentic ways, and the conversations that are sparked during these sessions have proven to reduce isolation and spread joy. Today, Rendeavor's VR platform is fostering a sense of thriving community by breaking down the barriers between residents, staff, and family members, and quickly winning over skeptics.
It's a common myth that seniors and cutting-edge tech don't work.
To validate its approach for senior living communities, Rendeavor partnered with experts from MIT's prestigious Age Lab to study the social impact of group VR experiences.
Within just 2 weeks of doing these daily VR sessions, people had statistically significant decreases in depression scores, increases in multiple measures of social health. Most interestingly, people actually started to trust each other more.
I think when looking at virtual reality, there's a little bit of fear around what that means and what that looks like. And are we not going to have engagement anymore? Are we just going to slap these headsets on and then we're done? And I can tell you, Rendeavor has put together a program where it encourages more engagement. It encourages us to ask more questions and have more conversations.
Yeah, I've done more with her in the last couple hours than I did with
anybody in this building.
Anybody else, yeah.
I always say it's somebody coming out of their shell, but it's also somebody really seeing that therapeutic aspect of somebody who's in their room, isolated, down, and then coming out of their shell, leaving their room, talking to people, finding somebody they have something in common with, whether it's a place they might have lived in America or visited. You do tend to see in their studies that show that reduces depression, it reduces anxiety.
It just makes me feel alive, really alive again. I've been really depressed, being in here. And that thing was awesome.
One of the most amazing things that we do is we have this ability to take people back to their childhood home.
The neighborhood does look familiar, because I grew up there.
The moment you tell someone that they can go back to a meaningful place from their past that they haven't been in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, they light up. Right? There's something so authentic and so exciting about that, where you really can't replace that.
I was in the Navy, and that was when I was out on my own for the first time. I was on a ship called the USS Lexington.
There's a church there.
Yep, the flight deck, I kind of remember it. I was stationed up there. I think I see an alley up there.
Rendeavor's technology is at the forefront of a new era in senior living, focused on combating an isolation epidemic.
Data shows that social isolation is as detrimental to one's health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
To meet this challenge, Rendeavor is designed for multiple participants, allowing residents to improve their own social and physical health by spending time together.
It's about social connections. We know that isolation in seniors is a huge issue, and it's kind of a pandemic in the country. And so we want to find ways to reduce that isolation, bring connection between residents and staff, and between each residents amongst each other.
The magic really happens when the VR headset comes off. They'll sit down at dinner together, and they'll continue talking about the experience that they just had.
Staff drive the Rendeavor sessions from start to finish, allowing residents to simply wear the headset and engage in the experience together. It's simple to use and simple to enjoy, which allows the focus of the session to center around the actual impact being delivered.
If you said to me 5 years ago, if you were going to have this virtual reality and if you were going to put something together, what would it look like? This is what it would look like. It's really comfortable, and as soon as you put that headset on, you're immediately in a different space. The Monarch-Rendeavor relationship is a huge step forward for Monarch Healthcare Management and how we're looking at the future of senior living.
Oh, this is great. I'm glad I didn't have to actually go, physically go.
We are putting staff in the position to deliver true magical moments to the people that they care about every single day. There's nothing more rewarding than that.
It was fun. I'd definitely do it again.
Seeing these experiences of these residents, this is my dream.
Already, hundreds of senior living teams have used Rendeavor's resident engagement platform to deliver over 1 million VR experiences to tens of thousands of residents.
The moment you see a resident put that headset on and they just come back to life, you can't not want to do this.
The Rendeavor team believes the future of healthy senior living is social. They believe that the stories created through technology like this will help reduce the stigma around the aging process and will play a large role in redefining what modern senior living can deliver.
By working together with other people in the industry, we're gonna create a space in which this concept of aging is something that is full of life. It's full of vibrancy, it's full of connection, and we're gonna empower every single one of our senior living community partners to be the epicenter of their community.
And swimming with the dolphins was the best for me. I've always wanted to do it, and the Grand Canyon was great. And what was great about it was you could look all the way around you and up in the air, and you were there. You could see the stars. It was beautiful.
All of our residents are here for different reasons, but in bringing in this virtual reality, we can really build upon that community. We can build upon the fact that we're all in this long-term care facility right now, but we're all together here, and we've all had these amazing experiences that we can share and learn from.
I wake up every day with zero doubt in my mind that what I'm doing is changing the world. We had someone go from being depressed, stuck in their room, to exploring the world, to checking off bucket list items, to smiling, the biggest smile I've seen like all year. And that's the power of what Rendeavor is able to do. The product that we're delivering, the platform that we're delivering, it is changing somebody's life.
All right. The goal here was not to, Rendeavor was using the Oculus Quest, and of course they have software that they use for seniors, and so what I wanted to show you though, that using VR is a really magical experience. If you haven't actually had that experience, you really, it's magical. It takes you into a different world where you can explore and watch and see and move and do all sorts of things that just isn't on this earth. It is a very, very magical experience. And for this, of course, there are a lot of applications for this, particularly with seniors. But how can you purchase this, and what type of hardware is available is what I want to look at next, and we'll tell you what's available and how it works. So I'm going to show you the next video now, and this should run. This is one that, of course, I've made, and I'll show you how this works. Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Virtual Reality for Seniors, Part 2, the hardware. Let's have a look. Now you know the routine. If you like this video, please click the like, and I would sure appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. It really helps us, and it helps other people wanting to see these videos. Thanks again. Let's get on with the show. Now, if you go to Best Buy and you want to buy a virtual reality machine, you'll have three choices. And these are the three choices we're going to talk about today, starting with the PlayStation. This is Sony's PlayStation VR. This is a very popular device. It's $349 at Best Buy. Now the only problem is that you have to have a PlayStation to be able to use this. This is just for the headset. Now I'm not sure I know a lot of seniors that use the Sony PlayStation, but it is extremely popular. Sony's entry level into the market is the lowest powered of these three. But the PlayStation has a big advantage over the Quest 2 and Vive. Because it's tethered to the PlayStation gaming system, there is an enormous pre-existing user base of tens of millions of gamers, many of whom are eager to try their hands at virtual reality. Because of the user database that the PS4 had, Sony's customers didn't have to purchase or upgrade computer hardware to make the PlayStation virtual reality headset the most affordable of the high-end HMDs, or head-mounted displays. As such, the PlayStation Virtual Reality is the best-selling virtual reality headset on the market, moving over 4 million units since its initial release, and showing that if nothing else, VR gaming is here to stay. So this is for sure, if you do have a PlayStation, this is a very easy way to get into virtual reality, with the software and hardware being on the PlayStation 5. Again, these are the prices at Best Buy. You'll see that the headset is $349 and the PlayStation is just under $500, which makes it just under $900 for the combination headset and PlayStation. All right, let's talk about the HTC Vive. Here is an example of the Vive Cosmo Elite. This is different than the Oculus Quest in that it has two external components. You'll see those two boxes by the headset and two controllers. Now, the HTC Vive has been one of the best-selling virtual reality headsets on the market since its consumer release back in 2018. And the Vive has been locked in fierce competition with the Oculus Quest since its release. So the two are sort of battling it out, as both headsets are aimed at the top end of the virtual reality market. But I will tell you that the HTC Vive distinguishes itself on a couple of issues. The first is the screen resolution is probably a bit better than the Oculus, as well as the speed. So if you look at the top gamers who are really into virtual reality, they are tending to purchase the HTC Vive or the Cosmos Elite as their choice. But it distinguishes itself quite a bit from the Oculus on two issues. The first is price. You'll see that this is Best Buy prices, and you can buy the Vive Cosmos as a package for around $700 US. If you want just the headset, then it's just under $600. The problem is this is not a standalone unit. You have to tether this to a PC. So that's the second big distinguisher from the Oculus. The Oculus is a standalone computer. You do not need to connect it, but you do need to connect it. The HTC Vive, you do need to connect to a computer, and it works through the computer. So you need a gaming computer in addition to the hardware that I've just discussed. All right, this is the Oculus Quest 2. This is the one that I own, and you'll see me up in the left-hand corner of the screen. You'll see that it comes with a headset and two hand controllers, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. This is what you'll find in the box. You'll find on the left-hand side, you'll see that there are the two controllers, and you'll see the headset along with a charging cable. When you take it out of the box on the right-hand side, you'll see that there is a glass protector, which we'll talk about in a minute, the two controllers, and the head-mounted display. Now, there are two versions of the Oculus Quest. When you go to Best Buy to buy this, you'll find that there is one for $299 and one for $399. Now, this is the deal of a lifetime because these are standalone computers. You do not need a PC to run this. You don't need to connect it to your PC. You can do this all by initiating it through a cell phone if you want. And because it's heavily subsidized by Facebook, you'll find that it is extremely cheap. So when I say that you're going to buy a unit for $299, yes, that is it. These are standalone units. You'll be able to do all the virtual reality you want. It includes the software, the charging cables, and the two controllers, all for $299. Now, when you go to Best Buy, you're going to see that there are two versions. There's a version for $299 and $399. Let me say that these are exactly the same machines. They have the same processor in them. Everything about these two devices is the same, except for how much memory is in there. And the $299 one has 64 gigabytes of memory. The $399 one has 256 gigabytes of memory. So what's the difference? Well, it depends on how much memory you're going to need to play the games or the applications that you want. Let me tell you that I have the one for $299 or 64 gigabytes. It's perfectly adequate for the amount of applications that I want to play. So I don't really think, unless you have a lot of experience with VR and plan on putting a tremendous amount of games on there, I don't think that to spend the extra $100 is really worthwhile initially when you start. One important feature is you cannot upgrade the memory on these. So what you got is what you got. So if you do think you might want more memory, then spend the extra $100 and get the $399 version. The first question that I often get asked is, what if you wear glasses? I wear glasses. How do these headsets work with glasses? Well, there are really two types of people that wear glasses. Those are who are farsighted or short-sighted, and these individuals usually have had glasses all their lives. Then there's people like myself who have presbyopia. This is where you just need reading glasses as you get older because a lot of things start to wear out, right? So those of you who have presbyopia, such as myself, I didn't find that I needed my glasses in the virtual reality experience. So you may want to try it without glasses. There is a glass protector so that your glasses can't actually touch the lens, and you'll see that in the top right-hand corner. So if you do require, if you're short-sighted or far-sighted, or you find that you do need virtual reality, your glasses in the headset, you can indeed wear them. In fact, the lenses, which you'll see on the bottom right, can actually be taken out, and your optometrist can actually grind the lenses to fit your refraction, and some people do this. So glasses are really not an obstacle to virtual reality. Now, I often get asked, what about hearing aids? Well, part of the immersive experience of virtual reality is, of course, being able to hear the stereo sound. And you'll see on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's two speakers, one on each side. You'll hear them just by your ear there, and you will see them on the as part of the strap. It's very good sound. I have never had a problem with it. It was really pretty darn good. However, if you want more, or you're having trouble with hearing, then you're able to actually connect a headset through an audio output jack, as you'll see on the right-hand side. And this is a headset that is being plugged in and is used in addition to the speakers. There is no Bluetooth connection to earbuds and other devices like that. So this is a plug-in device that would be plugging in an existing headset. Now, in addition to purchasing your Oculus Quest, there's always a lot of questions about aftermarket devices that you can add to your existing headset. One of the big discussions that you'll have is the strap that comes with the Oculus Quest. As you'll see in this picture here, the Oculus Quest comes with the front-mounted headset, and then the strap goes over top of your head and connects at the back. This is like a Velcro strap that really works fine. You will find, though, that the headset is a little bit heavier in the front, and it doesn't quite balance on your head. So there is a lot of aftermarket devices made, and Oculus actually has an Oculus Quest 2 strap, which is it's a fixed piece of plastic, I guess, that comes around the side, and you have actually device to turn at the back of your head that can tighten or loosen the strap up. So instead of having a floppy Velcro thing, you have sort of a more of a permanent mounted device, and you can control how tight you want it by simply dialing the circle at the back. I did purchase this. I like it. I think it's fine. And it was $49. And this is available at Best Buy, or there are a lot of other companies that make devices like this to add on to your Oculus Quest. Now the Oculus Quest 2 is a clear winner. It is heavily subsidized at $299. It is a standalone device. You don't need any other equipment to have a great virtual reality experience. You can tether it to your PC and play games like Flight Simulator, and all you'll need is a cable of about $30 to connect it. And this week they announced a major update to the Oculus Quest software that's even going to let you do this all through a wireless connection. So lots of new things coming as well. Now my advice is this: give it a try, and if you get hooked on virtual reality, that's great. If it's not for you, give it to your grandchildren, because you will be known as the greatest grandparents ever. You know, all those sweaters you knit them and all those great dinners you bought them, they'll never remember that, but they will remember the day you gave them an Oculus Quest. Stay tuned to part 3, and we're going to talk about the software that's available and how you might use it as a senior with virtual reality. Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. All right. Do you have any questions on the hardware? Francis or George, what do you think? Any questions? You're muted, George.
There we go. Now you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know whether I want to spend $299 for something. You're going to talk about software here in the
I'll talk about software. We can talk about
that'll be an important part of it, as to what you can do with it.
Yeah, that's a for sure important part of it as well.
I happened to be at CES when Oculus Quest introduced their product, and I was astounded when Google bought the company for, I think it was $1 billion. That's really forward thinking to invest that kind of money in what then was an unproven technology.
That's right. That's right.
So that's really interesting. I guess it's,
and Apple, of course, will bring out probably later this year. Will be bringing out their VR sets, and I can assure you they'll be probably around $2,000. So it is a good deal. Now I must tell you that these are hard to come by. These are extremely popular, and they are often sold out. So it's not easy. You have to be in luck to get an Oculus Quest. So anyway, all right, let's watch the final video, and then we'll talk a bit, and then I can tell you about my experiences and how you might want to use this. Okay, so let's see where we go here. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Virtual Reality for Seniors, Part 3, The Experience. Now you know the routine. If you like this video, please click the like, and we'd sure appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. It really helps people who want to see these videos in the future. Thanks so much. Let's get on with the show. Now follow me as we go for a ride on my bike through the town of Comox, British Columbia. Let's start at my house and we're going to go for a little tour. Now you're going to have a lot of fun with virtual reality. Oh wow, there's the wow factor. For only $299, you are going to have so much fun. As seniors, we often have bad news, either with personal health with ourselves or with other people. So we need to laugh, we need to get out, we need to have some fun. And virtual reality certainly will give you the fun that you're going to have. Now, whether you want to take dance lessons, whether you want to go for a walk in Paris, or whether you want to visit a museum or cycle through Holland, it's all possible in virtual reality. Now, you're going to be able to communicate with friends. One of the great things about virtual reality is the ability to communicate from one person to the other in different locations. In virtual reality, where you actually think you're talking to someone and they're right there in the same room. It is so cool. You can enjoy lots of games. You can play table tennis. Maybe you want to play table tennis with another group. You have a group every Thursday that you play table tennis through. Again, all happens in virtual reality. So you're going to enjoy the games, you're going to socialize, and the other thing you're going to do is we're going to get you moving. As seniors, we have to keep moving. Remember the old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. So we're going to shake it up and we're going to show you how to do some moves today. So let's continue on with our little cycle through the town of Comox, British Columbia. Well, now you have your new Oculus. We need to do a setup. You've got it out of the box. Well, you're going to need to set it up. It's pretty darn easy, and you can use your cell phone or a PC. In fact, as I said before, it is a standalone computer, so you don't need a PC to use it. So I did it with my cell phone. It's real easy to do. Let me go out. Let me show you how that's done. Now, also in the setup process, you'll be able to communicate with other people. So if you have other friends that have Oculus devices, then you can communicate through that. So we'll set that up now. Let me show you how it's done. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is to go to your Facebook account. Ooh, you don't have a Facebook account. Remember, Facebook owns Oculus. Now, if you use Microsoft products, you have a Microsoft account. If you use Google products, you have an Android phone, you use a Google account. And if you have any Apple devices, you have an Apple account. So it only makes sense that if you have an Oculus device, you're going to have a Facebook account. Because with the Facebook account, you're going to need to register the device. You're going to get all the software updates for your Oculus device. You'll be able to purchase apps within the Oculus store. And when you connect for multiplayers, again, this all happens through the Oculus software and the connections through the Oculus website. And again, this is why you need a Facebook account. Now, you don't have to put any information in your profile online or anything like that. Just check your privacy settings and make sure you're secure if you're not a regular Facebook user, and you'll be just fine. All right, where to start? Well, you'll have pre-installed on your Oculus Quest some basic applications that you can use to have fun with, but you can also go to the Oculus store and download many more applications, games, whatever you want onto your Oculus Quest. You can do this from your phone, you can do it from your PC, or you can do it actually right within the Oculus Quest device. So there are many ways in which you can get more programs, apps onto your device to have lots of fun. Now, the next thing you have to decide is really what do you want to do with the Oculus Quest, right? You have it and you're wondering, oh, wow, this is cool. Well, it can actually be used as a desktop browser. Yes, there's a browser. You can actually browse the internet. You can check your email. And it even links to YouTube, which opens up a huge possibility. Yes, all your YouTube videos can be seen in virtual reality. In fact, you can even watch Huey and I and Bob and the whole gang of Tech for Senior in virtual reality. That's a cool thought, eh? Now, you can also link your television in and you can watch TV in virtual reality. Or you can use it to communicate with other people. So you and I could be having this conversation now in virtual reality as well. Or, which I decided to do, is to use it for exercise. Remember, if you don't use it, you lose it. So the focus today on this video is going to be how I used it in exercise. Now we're going to show you, this is a bike. This is actually my daughter's bike. I borrowed it from her. And this is sitting in our exercise room, and you'll see it sits in front of a television. My goal was to have this mounted and to use it with my virtual reality headset on and to do some cycling. You'll see that it's an outdoor bike, but of course it's mounted on a stand. I should tell you that when you put a bike on a stand, it actually gets quite tall. So I need a little footstool there to help me get on and off. And the goal was that I was going to sit on this bike, put my virtual headset on, and cycle around the world and have some really cool fun with it. Now, this is the stand. The stand, the only equipment that I really needed was the stand to mount the back tire on. And this cost around $100, and it just clips onto the rear axle and is really not a problem to install at all. Very simple. Now, one thing that I want you to purchase if you are planning to do this is this little device made by Magene, M-A-G-E-N-E. And this is a little device, then you'll see it clips on the pedal there. And this is a Bluetooth connection that connects to the headset, the Oculus headset. And this allows the device to accurately decide how fast you're going. It converts your pedal rotations to speed. So the faster that you pedal, the faster you're going to go virtually, right? But without this, you can't do that. The pedaling wouldn't really count. So this is a way in which your pedaling links into virtual reality. These are very common. You can, this is $20 for one of these devices, and it just clips on the pedal. Now, I didn't find, after a while using the bike, I found a little uncomfortable. As you get older, sitting on a bicycle seat isn't great. And the other thing that happens is that, particularly for my wife who has some arthritis, she couldn't get on the bike. So the other thing that you can do is get a recumbent bike. This is the one I bought. This is about $300, and it's a recumbent bike, and it works great. It's comfortable. You can sit there, and you can do all the cycling with a recumbent bike. Now, learning the equipment. Now, learning the equipment is fun and it's easy. It's a whole new world that you're going to be entering, and it's foreign to you. You've never done this before. It is totally immersive. You are going to be completely in a different world and oblivious to the outside world. You'll also need to move and activate menus. You'll be setting a floor level, and also you set peripheral boundaries around where you can move. So to keep you safe, because safety is a big concern. Now I want to talk a little bit about a common problem in virtual reality, particularly for beginners, and that is nausea. So I'm going to give you some advice. The first thing is take it slow. Start with a seated or sedentary experience and try not to do too much in the way of motion to begin with. It takes your brain a little bit of time to get used to the new experience that you're going to have. The second thing is don't push through virtual reality sickness. Stop what you're doing, reassess the situation, go away, maybe try a different application. Now, if you are having problems and you're in a game and you're sort of moving along in a sliding sensation, the best thing I find is if you actually start to move your arms and legs. This triggers your brain and says, oh, this is a correct thing to be doing. We're actually moving. And that sometimes helps. The other thing is the bracelets that you can wear around your wrist. have that little ball that pushes in on the front part of your wrist. This is a P6 acupoint pressure, and we often use these for people in airplanes or in ships for air sickness or ocean sickness, and these work quite well as well in virtual reality. Also, spearmint is helpful. So chewing some Wrigley spearmint gum or sometimes some mint candies can be helpful. And the other thing, which is an interesting one, is a fan. Get a fan and point it towards you from the front of it and have the air blowing towards you. This does two things. First of all, it does help with the nausea, but it also you get a sense of direction and always sort of can point yourself back in the right direction. It's quite helpful, actually. Now, I wanted to tell you about a website and a software program that I strongly recommend, and it's called VZ Fit. There's two options for this. One is free, and you can sign up for free, and there's a paid version. This is a cycling app, a fitness app that really works well for you. The free version, you get one ride or one route per month, whereas if you have the paid version, which is $10 a month, then you get unlimited. You can cycle all over the world. They have groups you can go cycling with. You can get coaches. There's all sorts of things that you can do with this application. And it's an application or a game that you would download onto your Oculus Quest. Now, why is this so important? Well, first of all, you can set it so you're a novice or a beginner. And the first thing when you're trying to ride a bicycle, like I have with my stationary bike, is of course the bike doesn't move, but you are going to be moving in the game. So what they do is they work it so that usually the routes they choose are straight routes, so you don't have to turn. And also they've developed it so that if you tilt your head to the left, then you can turn and bank to the left. If you tilt your head to the right, you turn and bank to the right. Also, it uses Google Maps, the road view, for their travels through the different areas. So if you come across a car, the car sort of just flattens out and you go right over top of it. It's a bit weird, but you'll get used to it and you don't have to turn. And so it makes it much easier, particularly when you're getting used to this. So if you're planning on using your Oculus Quest for a fitness and riding a bike like I tried, then for sure you really want to use this app. It's called VZ Fit, and I've put the link in the just below on the screen. So give this a try. So just remember, when we're seniors exercising, the most important is your safety. You are going to be totally immersed in a different world, so we want to make sure you don't hurt yourself. So learn the equipment and start slowly. The other thing I'd like you to do is set some realistic goals. The most important thing is to have fun. And remember, if you've had some health issues, maybe you've had a small stroke or something, you have maybe some eye-hand coordination problems, then there's all sorts of applications in virtual reality that can help you improve your eye-hand coordination. Virtual reality for seniors, part 3, the experience. Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Hope you've enjoyed the show today. Bye now.
So that's
You there?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. Can you speak a little bit more about the applications that you can purchase? You mentioned a couple that come, mentioned the Viz Room, which there's a free version, and you said there was at least one, maybe more than one, for the Oculus Quest itself. But aside from those, what opportunities are there for?
Well, it's really limitless. It's really limitless. So first of all, when you put the Oculus Quest on, it's like getting like a Windows 10 PC, right? You get all the software that comes with it. You can check your email. It's got It's got Chrome in it, and you've got YouTube. You've got all those that come as part of the computer, because it is a computer that you can use. So it is like a desktop computer that you have. So if you want to check your email, you want to go to YouTube or whatever, they're all there. Now the next stage is, what about programs or applications that you can download like you would on a Windows 10 PC? Like, can you get more software and programs and things that you can do? And the answer to that, of course, is yes. And that's where you go to the Facebook store, and they will have a lot of different games and things that you can download depending on what you want to do. The question really is what's appropriate, what would you want, and how would you find that out? And really, you have to sort of probably the best approach for that would be looking at some YouTube videos. There's lots of videos on what are the best videos, or what is the best one, what works the best for you. Most of the products you have, when you purchase them, you would, they give you a month to try them out. And if you don't like it, they give you your money back. So it really is up to you to decide what you want. And then, of course, there's a lot of physical fitness. The one that I would recommend if you're interested in doing some cycling is the one that I'd recommended there. I think that's important, and you can certainly use that. And then it really depends on what your interests are and how you want to use it. You can also coordinate with other people. You can watch movies together. You can pull up your YouTube videos and or watch television on it. You can connect with other people to watch the same show. Of course, you need a network of people that have this. One of the things that has changed since I made that video is you don't actually need a Facebook account anymore. They have an Oculus store now, and you can just sign on, and so you don't need a Facebook account. That was a stumbling block for a lot of people.
I gather you have to access your local Wi-Fi network to use this.
Yeah. Yes.
That's how you get access to all
That's
the
right.
things you mentioned.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Ron, this sounds like a great time waster. Have you found that to be true?
Well, yeah, it is. It is. I haven't used it for a couple of months, and I just put it on tonight. I thought I better check it, check it over and get the experience back again. Of course, I have an e-bike, and I like to get out and cycle on my e-bike. And part of when I made this video, I just bought my e-bike. That's why the last video you saw me out cycling there, and I was doing the camera work with the bike. I was trying out, because I like to get out in the air and I like to use my e-bike. So I mean, it is what it is. I think it just depends on your own situation and how if you're interested in it. It is an incredible piece of equipment for $299. You won't get as much fun about anything you buy today. You won't get as much fun out of it. And if you have grandchildren, give it to them if you don't like it, and you'll be the best grandparent, the best grandpa ever, right? But they are hard to find. I will tell you that if you go to Best Buy, they're often completely sold out. So they are extremely popular.
You can't order them?
Yeah, I guess you could. I guess you could you could do that.
How did you find out that they're hard to get?
Oh, it's been well known ever since they came out with them. First of all, we went through the whole pandemic, which was just crazy, right? And then, of course, everybody wanted them for that. And then the other thing that happened was Flight Simulator came out. I don't know if you know much about Flight Simulator, but
I do. I'm a pilot.
Yeah, Microsoft brought out, I think it was a year and a half ago, the brand new Microsoft Flight Simulator, which most pilots have copies of. It's used worldwide now. And of course, the Oculus Quest plugs right into Flight Simulator, and you can fly in 3D now, which is really an incredible experience with Flight Simulator. And so that put a stress on the supply chain as well, because it came out at the same time. And then with the chip shortage and just the general popularity, it's just crazy, right? Like it's just everybody wants them, so it can be hard to find them.
the two devices that you get with the headset, the hand devices, is that what those are for? So
Yeah, you have two. You have two.
grab things and move things, and that sort
Yeah.
of thing.
So you have two. You have the two devices you hold. There's one for your left hand and one for your right hand. Those are your controllers. Now, in actual fact, within the Oculus, you train it and you actually have virtual hands and can pick things up and you can move them and you can actually use your hands now. But some of the program requires the controllers, and on the controller there's joysticks and buttons and things that you can use to for certain parts of whatever you're doing, right? Now, if you're riding a bicycle, it doesn't really matter because you're just pedaling, right? You're just pedaling, so it's not such a big deal. But if you get into more intricate stuff, then you'll want to use those controllers, and they come with it, and that's part of the software.
Let somebody else ask a question. Terry and Francis.
Well, a whole bunch of people have asked me if I've tried them, so I guess I'll go ahead and buy one. I will start off with a 64.
Yeah, I have the 64, and I have got about 10 or 12 games on it, and I don't think I've hardly used any of the hard drive. I think it would depend. I just can't. It just doesn't use up a tremendous amount of games on there. Now, if you wanted to. And the other thing, you could uninstall something and then reinstall it later if you had a new game and you wanted to use it. I mean, I'm just not sure that spending the extra $100, unless you knew what you really wanted to download crazy amounts. I don't think you would. I don't think you need to spend the extra $100. And they are exactly the same processor and exactly the same. There's nothing different about the two. It's just the extra memory, and the memory is only the storage memory. It's nothing to do with how fast the machine runs or anything like that.
Is there a lot of different programs or a library of things that you can do, someplace you can go to see what's available?
And I was saying that to George. I said probably the easiest thing to do would be to that is certainly a problem, and that what I do is I usually go on online to YouTube and just search and say seniors exercise VR, and you'll find a bunch of videos about, and people will be reviewing them and saying this is good and this isn't good, or what you want. So there is a bit of trial and error, and you have to do a bit of investigating to try and figure that out. The one I like for cycling was the one that I mentioned. So I have to tell you my experience. Francis, are you there? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was Terry talking to you.
Okay. I got to tell everyone my experience with my first experience with virtual reality. So I got to tell you this to explain. So just so that everyone understands how this works. So I first got the set, and of course I set the exercise bike up like you saw, and I thought that I was going to hop on it and cycle like heck and have a great time, right? And on YouTube, there are infinite number of cycling, VR cycling applications that you can use. Not applications, but people go out and they do a road cycle, record it with another camera behind them, and then you can go and you can cycle with them, right? And so I thought, okay, I'm only going to do a short one. So I found this place in California, and I can't remember where exactly it was, but it started out, it said it was an easy route, and it started out, and you sort of went along this path where people were walking, and you cycled for about a quarter of a mile, and then you went on to another path and then onto a road, okay? And it took about 15 minutes. So I thought it was an easy cycle, and I was just going to do that. So I hopped on got it all set up. I got my headset on, got everything all set up, started cycling, following the person behind me, or he was in front of me and I'm behind him. That's the way it's set up. And so I start cycling and pedaling, and I have to pedal a little harder to keep up with this guy. And now as we're going down the path, he's winding around between people, right? And so, you're going back and forth and you're winding through people. Well, he's moving between people. You're not. You're on a stationary bike, right? So you aren't moving. You're cycling, but your brain is telling you that you're on a bicycle and you are moving between these people. So that in itself was weird, and I started to get a little nauseated. You start to feel a little motion sick because your brain is just weird, right? It's not an experience. You would normally think when you're weaving between these people that you'd bank left, bank right, you want to turn a bit left, you want to turn a bit, but you're on an exercise, it doesn't work, right? So then we get to the end of the path, and he makes a hard right turn to go down the path to the right. But if you kept going straight, you went right onto a 6-lane freeway where there was like all this traffic, right? So you're cycling along, and all of a sudden he turns right, but I'm not turning right. I'm going right ahead because I can't turn right. And it looks like you're driving right into a 6-lane freeway. You got to remember, this is real. I thought that was the most terrifying experience I had ever thought. I thought I was going to die because you're going right into all that traffic. Now, in reality, what you want to do is just close your eyes, because the movie's going to take you to the right and eventually line you up, and you're going to cycle along. Well, it sort of worked out, but that just made me a little more nauseated, a little more apprehensive, right? And then we got to the end of the path, and we had to go back, and he just did a U-turn and turned right around. Well, of course, I can't do that on my exercise bike. So the whole thing with the brain and trying to get this all sorted out was really a very, 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 my first experience was a pretty scary experience. Now, and so I guess the reason I'm saying that why the software I recommended that you use helps you with that and takes you through that. And they have programmed into the software, if you lean a little to the left, then you'll turn to the left. If you lean a little to the right, you turn to the right. And that helps you when you're cycling and following people. So there's tricks to this and how it all works. You can't just hop on a bike and expect, because it is very real. You really think you're on a bike, but you're not. You're on an exercise bike that isn't going to turn. So it is a different experience you have to experience. Comes with it table tennis. You can play tennis. People who have there's all sorts of hand coordination games that you can use. It really would depend on what application that you wanted to use it for.
So there would be something like if you wanted to hike the streets of Athens or something, there would be
anywhere in the world. You go anywhere in the world, and you could walk around and look at that. That hiking is a good example. You could go into they've got museums that you can take it into and walk in, and you do a tour of any museum, and you can look at all the stuff in 3D. That's pretty cool.
That's what I'd be interested in. So you can find that library of places and things on YouTube.
Yeah, you can look on YouTube, and that would be a start, and that would be a good place to look, and then you just have to keep exploring.
Interesting.
Now, a friend of mine is going to Spain in 2 weeks, and he's taking his VR headset on the plane with him. He's downloaded a bunch of movies, and he's going to watch movies in VR on the plane while he's going over there, because it is a totally immersive experience. So you get rid of all of the airplane noise, and you don't hear that, and you're concentrating, and you're really having a good time watching the movie, and you can block other people out. So he's going to let me know how that works out. So it's a lot of fun, as I said, and it's I would certainly for it is as you looked at those. The reason I showed you that video, the very first video, I wanted to just show how people react to this. I mean, you had to watch that first video and really be amazed at how those people felt about it, right? And they really is it is a really a magical experience. You'll never experience anything like it before.
Well, you're a pretty good salesman. I can see that.
Yeah, I don't even make any money at it. I wish I made money. I don't even sell it.
Well, thanks for your presentation. And if I'm not mistaken, your last two recordings are on YouTube.
They are. Yeah, all three of them. I didn't show you that. I didn't. There's the first one I made. It was on the history of VR and how VR came to be, and that was the very first one I made. So that was the episode 1, and so there's episode 1, 2, and 3, and they're all on YouTube.
Yeah, I had seen the other two on Tech for Seniors, so I hadn't seen the first one. That was new. That was a different approach for using a way to use Oculus in an entirely different situation. So that was helpful. All right, thanks.
Yeah, if you're a pilot, I will tell you, if you use Flight Simulator, it is definitely is.
Well, I haven't flown for 20 years, but I did a lot of flying prior to that, and I really miss it. So that would be a way to experience vicariously.
Yeah. Now you need for Flight Simulator, you will need a PC, and you will need to purchase Flight Simulator, the software, and put it on a PC, and then you connect this VR, you connect the headset to the PC and run it through the PC. That's how you do it. It doesn't come on the Oculus. You'd have to connect it to that.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Well, hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, Francis can send me an email and drop a line, and otherwise have a good evening.
Thank you, Ron.
Okay. Bye-bye now.